You seem to have made a new friend. You can never have too much scrap, plastic or otherwise. There's a lot on the line here. Out of Date says the time has come for you to reconcile with your past. Lupa Lupin is still staying in the camp where he was brought up. He hopes you'll find the answers you are looking for there. Even though darkness is a part of your nature, he suggests you try to keep your cool, as the best fighter is never angry. He'll point you in the right direction, but the rest is up to you. This part of the journey is one you'll have to do on your own. Lupa Lupin's camp has always been there, hidden deep inside the mountains. Out of Date hopes you'll find your way and the answers you were looking for once you're there. He knows he said it before, but the time has come to put an end to the Lupin's reign of terror. You should get over there, come face to face with destiny. It's going to be you against the Lupin. No rules. He's happy to help. Says you're welcome back. Hide or hunt tonight. That's your call. Lupa Lupin's camp has always been there, hidden deep inside the mountains. Tread carefully here. This is Lupa Lupin's camp. See that plastic scrap over there? Hey, a mount has no gears to grind. Lupa Lupin says he's been looking forward to this moment. He wanted you to come here and see for yourself where it all started. He was so little when your mother and kin came here to put an end to his mother just because she was different, a hunter. That night, the hunter became the hunted, trapped with nowhere to run. He says your mother showed no mercy. Only vengeance. He can see that you're not like your mother. There's something different about you. Maybe you would have made a better decision than she did, and let them be. They orphaned him, left him alone, an outcast and a freak. Lupa Lupin says he's been reliving the moment every night since then. He says your mother and her disciples started something that couldn't be undone. They created the monster he would become. He knew his time would come and he was patient. So, when he got news about your birth, he knew how to get revenge that would last. Just so. That's why he spared you that night he raised the village when you were a child. He wanted you to suffer for life, like he had. No. He marked you for life, so he'd recognize you when you met again, and you'd eventually remember where you came from. No. His hunger grew insatiable over the years to come. He tried, but being vegetarian wasn't in his nature, and he couldn't go hungry. But he's never taken a life for the sake of appetite. It's always been about survival, and that our true self is being who we are. A deep look into nature will make you understand everything better, and that natural selection eliminates, and the strongest survive. Fate is for those too weak to determine their own destiny, and now the time has come for you to accept yours. The plague that's ruining the land needs to be stopped. Every little bit helps. Best part of this ride is it runs on green stuff. Out of Date says that from what he's heard, you've been busy. He says he appreciates what you've done so far, but unfortunately he's got urgent news from his friend Noko in the east. Out of Date says that even though he's unsure about your intentions, he hopes you'll support Noko. He says he'll point you in the right direction, but finding Noko and making sure she gets what she needs is up to you. That doesn't sound good. Out of Date was spot on. The hoof puff needs to be stopped. Out of Date says that Noko is worried now that the Eastern World Eater is stepping up its activity. He explains that Noko keeps a fabled steed that she has planned to ride out to the World Eater, but needs help to get it prepared. Out of Date suggests that you should head east as fast as possible and see what you can do to help. He's happy to help. hopes to see you again soon. Ride like the wind. This must be Bionucleus 7H. Better be careful. The contamination here can mess with your molecular structure. That looks like the radionic controls need a nudge to frequency an airwave signal. Just a few moves left. Make them count. It's a fine way to ride. Ooh, a biohazard like that can make you real sick. Give him a hand. Someone could probably make good use of that plastic scrap over there. A new day's here. Might not be so many left. Disgusting. Biohazard. Just gross. Go make the most of the day. Kaboom! It's starting to add up. That's active biocontaminated sludge. Enough goo to cause a flux at a molecular level. Get under that sky while you still can. Tell it to Gallum. injured. One down. This thing needs new bounce sorbers. A crossway. This means you have a choice to make. Which way? That looks like the control box handles need to be wheeled to buzz the wire. Wired up and ready to go. Should cover up your most important parts. What? You can't really understand your story till it's done. Can't find better than this. That might come in handy. That's not opening on its own. Doesn't riding a beast like this feel good? This region is known as the Canupstonies. You can't find a harder place in the world. Fry pan. You might want to fall back. Watch your balance. Ah, the Gnote pen. Noko never leaves this place. She's always put the living things first. Let's see. Nooks isn't an easy language, but at least it's manageable. She says she is so happy to see you again. She wonders if you remember her. She's Noko. She let you ride her Majut when you were a kid.
Andro?
Noko remembers you used to chase around with so much energy and is glad to see you haven't lost any of that spark. But that's all long gone now, though. Memories show us where we've been, not where we're going. Is sure they'll come back on their own once you stop forcing them. Hopefully not to haunt you, though. You've suffered enough already. Noko remembers those days too, but she never lets herself wallow in them, no matter how tempting that can be. She sees you're back to buck with Lupa Lupin. Can't see how there's any way to avoid that now. Not for long, at least. She says the horrors of your younger days were enough to ruin anyone, but not you. You've got all that cheer about you still. Noko says history is like the trail you've been on. You can walk back down it any time you like, until it's worn smooth. But you get to blaze your own trail from here. then you are stronger than her. She can't help wanting Lupa Lupin to pay for what he did to her Gnotes, despite the fact it's against her nature.
Love to see you shine on.
You got it. Take a break from all that's bright.
Who doesn't love a little sparkle in their lives?
Anyone with the slightest self-respect.
And that's overrated.
Asks how many paths you've wandered in the world, and if you ever wonder about what might have changed if you'd taken different ones. The choices can be overwhelming, but you have to choose, or you just stay where you are. And what kind of choice is that? So happy the world is going to live, would have been crushed to see all the Gnotes die with it. Likes that you stood up for the world and spurred your way toward helping it out. Glad you saw the light with the myriad. They always bring a sparkliness to any day, and sometimes the nights too. They're just so shiny, makes her smile to think about them. But let's not speak of that now. She has an idea where the Majut might have gone, as there's no other place it likes as much as its own corner of the open wild. She's even named it the Majut Meadow. The Majut will recognize the scent you've attracted while being here, so it'll probably trust you enough to follow you. You should lead the Majut back here when you find it. It's going to take time to get it calm enough to be able to ride out to the World Eater. She can't be sure. You'll have to wait and see.